so special to me. I mean, I gotta see him. I need to breathe him. That's my baby. Don't call me crazy. I love the studio, but I love him more. Let me give you what I got. So I woke up in the morning feeling fresh to death. I'm so blessed. Yes, yes. I went to sleep stressed. Woke up refreshed. I'm so blessed. Yeah, yes. Water in my face and everything is in its place. Peace of mind, even my grave. Hey, Doc. So blessed. Yes, yes, yes. My grandma almost lived. Thanks for joining. I'm so blessed. Yes, 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 yes. My son was born healthy and beautiful. I'm so blessed. Yeah, yes. My mama's on my right side, daddy on my left. My son, father doing this absolute. I'm so good afternoon, Day. Blessed, blessed, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yes. Okay. You should have gotten a notification to join, Sean. And I know what I know. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Hey. Wait,
hey.
Yeah, where we at?
I always get so excited when it works.
Yeah, that part.
Work out your camera because you like all over the place.
Yeah.
Let me turn down my tunes so I can hear you.
I'm trying to see if I can do it this way. No?
No, the other way.
Oh, it has to be laying down. Okay.
Yeah, just like that. Boom. There you go. Right. Get comfy. I see you.
Let me check my brows. Okay. I'm good. let me get something. Let me get something to prop this up. Hold on a minute.
No worries. You look good. Right. Well, while Sean gets the camera action together over there, I just want to thank you for joining. I'm Phoenix Love of A Healer's Haven, and welcome to Real Conversations with Real Souls. I am so excited that you are taking time out of your busy Saturday afternoon to join us. It is a little bit earlier today because I have an event to go to this evening. And also I wanted to accommodate our wonderful special guest, Sean Ewing, who is joining us from the UK.
From the UK, mate.
Yes. What do we say? Good day, good night. Cheerio.
Hello, works.
Sean, you see I got my little scarf on, so I was trying to have my little, British thing going on today, my little scarf.
Okay. And a whole lot more than that, okay? It's breezy. It's breezy.
All right, so you already see how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get right to it. Let me turn my tunes down and make sure everything is copacetic. Can you hear me well, Sean? You hear me loud and clear?
Yes,
okay.
I can. You can. Everyone that's on, can you hear me? Let me throw some.
Just type in the comments, everyone that's on, that you can hear us both clearly. I'm going to actually close my door here so I can have any outside noise. Okay. Wonderful. So today's topic is all about just saying yes to you. Yeah. It's a new year, and we know with a new year that comes with new possibilities, a fresh anointing, a fresh start. Yeah. So I thought there was no one better but my good friend of over 20-something years. Ooh. Yes. To have on. Sean is a retired U.S. Army captain, an emerging author, and I'm going to have him talk about his book a little bit later because I'm excited to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And there's so many titles. Where we could go with this. Law student, studying law in the UK. Yeah, just really an amazing human being on this earth that has such a journey, such a story to share with all of us. And we're gonna get this cracking because
There's so much to talk about. But Sean, I just want to get things started with just, really with the basics of when we talk about just saying yes to you. For me, that's about basically showing up for yourself every single day, and not being on someone else's agenda, not being on someone else's beck and call and what they want you to do, but really showing up for you, acknowledging that you have a purpose and plan and calling for your life.
Right.
That the divine creator has made you for a particular purpose, and you are on that path. You're not allowing anyone to get you off that path. Yes, we have to live life and work, and we have our families, and but at the same time, showing up for you every single day and making sure that you are making yourself a priority. That, to me, that's what just saying yes to you is all about, But I wanted just to, kind of start this thing off. What does just saying yes to you mean to you?
Wow. Okay. Well, firstly, that which does not feed your soul feeds from it. Okay.
Right.
I'll say that first. Showing up for you and just saying yes to you also means that you have to say no to a lot of other people. You spoke about in some of your other lives about generational curses and about, DNA and blood ties and all these things. You have to say no to all of that in order to say yes to you. So it's a lengthy process. It's an everyday, battle to choose you. You have to choose you consistently, continuously, every single day of your life. But you first have to say no to some things and some people. So that's pretty much what it means to me. We can get right into it. This is how we do it. I came from a tumultuous, background. I grew up in New York City, on the New York City streets. I came from a house where there was domestic violence, there was alcoholism, there was, drug addiction, molestation. And, at a very young age, I realized that if I didn't choose me, that I was going to be the victim. And, I wasn't going to be the victim for my whole life. Most of it I was, because I didn't choose me. But at an early age, like I said, I realized that, with some things going on, that didn't sit well with my spirit, with my soul. So, I just decided to, start saying yes to me, one thing at a time. And just to take you back, I remember the first day I actually said yes to me. And like I said, I came from a background where there was molestation and these things. And, I remember my mother, she was taking me to, some guy's house that they knew, friend of the family, to babysit me. And, he had already molested me. And at that very age, I probably was about 7 years old. I said yes right then. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I can't go. We're not doing that today. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done being, the victim, of my circumstances. So, I made a choice. Like I said, it's continuous. I continued on in the military, and it was the same thing. A constant fight to say yes to you. You have to battle the whole world, for you. So, just the war. I've been through a couple of wars, racism, it was continuous, gang rape, just, because I wouldn't stand up for myself. I was the victim. And I stayed the victim, and every time, every fight, every situation, I had to stand up for myself and say, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing
right. Me. So Sean, you, and unfortunately for a lot of us, molestation, trauma, rape, all of these things, domestic violence has been a part of our history and our background, from childhood to young adults to adulthood. Everybody's situation is different, but yet there's so many similarities when you start to listen into everyone's story.
Right.
And that's both men and women.
Oh, yeah.
But talk to us about how those situations have shaped and molded you for better or for worse. And
Yeah.
you know, it's because it's all a part. And I talked a little bit about this on my other live, how it's all a part that of creating that kind of mosaic. It's
Right,
like
right.
the glass, the
Right.
char, the clay, the
Mhm.
dirt.
Yeah.
All of that comes together to make something beautiful in the end.
Oh, yeah.
But talk about how those experiences have shaped and molded you to who you are today.
Yeah, so many, love. But I remember when I was 21, you know, I had a nervous breakdown when I was 21. I don't even know if we ever even spoke about that. But, you know, I had a nervous breakdown at age 21. And, you know, sometimes you find yourself in the middle of nowhere. And sometimes in the middle of nowhere, you find yourself. You know, I just like I said, it was continuous. I had to keep saying, you know, no in order to say yes to me. And I had 2 kids at 21, and I realized that me not saying yes to me was automatically saying no to them. You know, when it comes to generational curses and breaking those chains, you know, I had to, you know, I had more than myself at this point that I had to say yes to, and you know. That brought me, you know, through the military and up to probably about 14 months ago. And your listeners probably don't know this, but I'm, you know, now a trans man. You know, I transitioned over a year ago from female to male. So I lived my life 40 years, over 40 years as a woman. Had my own 2 children biologically. And, you know, this is at the time, you know, the deadliest time in the LGBTQ community. Okay. You know, what happened in Florida with Pulse, the club that was shot up, you know, just different things you hear about trans people, you know, gay people being killed and, you know, just in the street being, you know, just jumping on and, you know, and it's just really sad. And, you know, you know, I had a boyhood. Let's just keep it real. I ran through New York, you know, you know, got it in. Kicking garbage cans and, you know. Yeah.
A true New Yorker, a true New Yorker.
I that's the person too. I don't even know. You know, but, you know, I had a boyhood, and you know, I had you know, thought that, you know, I didn't have a right to be me, to be, you know, who I wanted to be. In the military, it was putting people out, you know, of the service, you know, for identifying different, right? You know, so people were losing their jobs. So, you know, I went for 23 years in the military with my shirt tucked in. You know, I was like, listen, I need my job. You know, I got, you know, worry about the rest of that later. You know, I got to take care of my children. So I tucked myself in, and after I retired, you know, I'm sitting around, and, you know, it just came to me one day. I was sitting there, and it says, you know, it's time. And, you know, I didn't really, you know, get into transgender because, like I said, I'm already 40 years old. So at this point, so I'm like, wow, this is more than even I, you know, had, you know, thought, you know, was something that could be possible. But, you know, sometimes you go through things in your life, Phoenix, where, you know, it's so much. You have to unveil and peel back so many layers of yourself that you, so I'm left with just courage. I'm left with just guts. I'm left with, you know, there's no tomorrow. I'm left with, you know, things have to be, you know, unlimited. You know, I have to have at this point limitless, you know, potential, because if I don't choose to live, I'm going to die right here where I started. You understand what I'm saying? This is it for me. This chain is.
And you talking about you talking about your soul and your spirit.
Yeah.
You don't understand that's as deep as, you know, a physical death, right?
Yeah. This is the unveiling. You know what I mean? I had to peel myself back, you know, and say, okay, this is me, and this is, you know, we make changes in ourselves. We change where we live. We change what we drive. You know, where we work. But to change your physical self, you know, what people think being transgender, and is not what they think it is. You know what I'm saying? This is not a weak sickness. I'm not psychologically disadvantaged. You know what I'm saying? You know, I put on my pants every day just like you do. I take care of my kids. I got grandkids. Okay. So this transition happened at a time, like I said, where I was like, if I'm gonna choose me, I'm gonna choose all of me. You know, I'm gonna do this. You know, I'm burning the boats. You know, I'm blowing the bridge. This is it. You know, it's happening. And, you know, I was like, what are my friends, my family? You know, just I was married at that point. Is my wife gonna stay with me? You understand what I'm saying? You know, Caitlyn Jenner got 1.6 million followers in 5 hours. My last name ain't Jenner. You understand?
Right. It's you.
taught, my whole closet was garbage. Okay, everything was done. So I said, this is what it means. I've never, Phoenix, been closer to aligning my spirit than I am right now. And this is when you get when you are caught between two genders. Maya Angelou says it, nothing can dim a light that shines from within, right? So I'm at the point, my spirit is crying out, and I've been, I felt oppressed for my whole life, but I wasn't quite sure what that was. If it was, sometimes your experiences get tangled up inside of you. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell what came from where and the root of this and how that went through. But I really just got to the point where I was like, this is what I'm doing. And it was weird because the Veterans Administration that takes care of military vets actually helped me, and they're helping me currently transition. And that blew my mind. 147,000 veterans are transgender.
And so you're referring to, you said they're helping you to transition. You're talking about the actual, the testosterone medication and all of the stuff that goes into the process.
The hormone replacement therapy, the endocrinologist, the psychological evaluations, checking levels, and the thing about it is that, I'm fortunate because a lot of the transgenders, they don't have, that kind of medical support.
That kind of, right, exactly.
And if you think about it now, let's just keep it real. This is 100. We keeping it 100.
Yeah, this real conversation with real souls. Absolutely,
but,
yes.
Yeah, growing up,
that's why you're here.
yeah. When we was growing up in New York City, you know what I'm saying, a transvestite was, some 6-foot dude under the bridge or down 42nd Street with heels on the make. You understand what I'm saying? So the way we all about what transgender is, has changed, and that's part of my mission. Is to let people know that this is what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
And I want you to talk about more of your cause and the things that looking to do, especially you're not here in the States anymore, so you have an international platform now, which is awesome.
Right.
And there's so many young people, me, being a therapist that have worked with adolescents most of my career. And I've worked with a lot of adolescents in the LGBTQ community, who have struggled, who have been thrown out of their house, who have been suicidal, that whole process, who have been disowned by their families, just terrible, heartbreaking stories.
Homeless.
And they need to be able to say, and have someone they can look to and say, okay, I'm going to be all right. I'm not this, all of the different negative derogatory things that are being, they're labeled with and called and, just the whole judgment aspect of it all. And I do want to ask you just a little bit more, because I know you went down the route. What was your aha moment? And just in general, what was your aha moment that said, you know what, like you said, you were 40,
okay,
right, lived this life, as a woman, and you were in the LGBTQ community already. However, you said at 40, this is it. What was the aha moment for you?
Wow. We can go on about religion and everything another time, but it says the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. And I will tell you that when I heard the voice say, it's time, a lot of times we hear the voice of God, or we hear that voice from within, and we don't know it, and it's small. It's a small, still voice, and you hear it. And you're like, okay, all right. Well, if you can use anything, use me, and you ready. But sometimes
willing vessel.
Okay, right. Sometimes you get redirected, and it's not what you think. You think it's one cause, and it's tied to something else. And you can't redeem what you're not kin to. Everything needs a kin redeemer. Okay, and so I, originally set out to, I was, getting my book published and everything, and it was, held back, and I just couldn't seem to get it going. And since I started to transition, it's just been on my heart to work with trans kids. Like I said, if I had showed up before now, right? I would have been too early.
Mm-mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Woo.
I
Revelations, yes.
too early. But you know, here in the UK, the numbers have quadrupled in 5 years of children who are trans or identify as non-binary or identify as something else. And the UK is actually a lot better about trans kids and helping than the US is.
I can
And
believe
so,
that.
right. And so while, I set out thinking, I'm going to be an attorney, I'm popping my collar like they don't even know what's about to go down. You understand? I'm thinking, I want to be a sports and entertainment attorney, and it just dropped on my spirit. Like I said, that, somebody somewhere is waiting for all of us
Mm-hmm.
to show up and say yes, and when you say yes to yourself, like I said, you say yes to everybody else, to whoever's waiting for you to show up. And so, now it's been on my spirit to work with trans kids, and, they need someone that knows their story, that's lived their story, and that can actually fight policies and regulations and, fight the state and the government and fight on the hill for them. And so, that's the vision, that's my aha moment. And I wish I could say to you that an aha moment comes to me every now and then, but I get them all the time. Okay? I had to walk
That's
with
that download. That's that download.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on. I should have got
right.
my
Slow down. I know, right?
What happened? What happened? Oh, I couldn't even put it back together, so I get aha. I get aha.
That's because you said yes to you. That's what you said yes. And this is what this is all about. Whatever your calling and your path. That's Sean's path. Mm-hmm. I have my path. We all have our unique experience. That's why I wanted to start off the conversation about, yes, your journey, what you have been through that brought you to this point, because mm-hmm. that is what really is the motivator. That's really the drive. That's really the fire that's lit under us. And it's all about what keeps you up at night. What are you really passionate about? Yeah. Because that's something that's deep down in your soul. Like you said, that's the alarm clock is going off, your heart is beating. It makes your heart beat because that's exactly what you're created to do. That's what it's all about. And once you say affirmative and say yes, that's when, like you said, it's like, okay, slow down, God. I can't keep going.
I wasn't
and then
ready.
It's like you're on on your direction, and it's like those steps are ordered, and then you're called. You know what you're called to do, and you're doing it. Absolutely. And that's so powerful. That's so powerful. And you just got to know what your lane is.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it's very powerful because I'm having visions now of me with children, surrounded by children, and they just laying on me and, just, sobbing. And it's just like, wow, when you realize that, whatever your calling is, when you realize the greatness that's within you, and a lot of people walk around not knowing what their purpose is. They don't, I don't know what I should be doing. I'm waiting on, that's another conversation. But when you realize that someone is waiting for you, to show up, it makes you feel like, wow, I need to, what I'm talking about? I need to get up on purpose, on point, because it's not just about you. None of it's about what's the point of a gift if you can't give it away?
That's why it's called a gift.
That's why.
It's something so simple we don't think about, but that's why it's called gifts. And you're absolutely, it's not a gift for us. It's not, and it's just like, don't bury those talents. Don't bury that gift. That's not why it was created.
Listen.
You weren't given that light to just bury it. You were given that light to shine it.
Yeah.
You were given all of those, all your knowledge or your wisdom, all your experiences. That's why I was saying the other day, just take everything that has happened to you, even the horrible things.
Even the horrible things, all the trials, all the
make it brand new. Yes.
Because there's because of everything I went through, and I'm gonna tell you, all my life, children have been drawn to me, and I never really thought about it. And I'm talking about children, just all in.
They love you, they do.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's just breaking their neck to check out. I'm like,
that's the spirit.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Short, what I'm saying. But Yeah, children have always, and that's because, and that gets back to, like I said, one of your lives where you were talking about, having a healthy inner child.
Oof.
That's huge, because if I had not taken the time, if I had not worked to heal on the healthy inner child, you know what I'm saying, then I wouldn't be able to get to the point where I'm a healthy adult. And, I didn't forget, I remember everything like it was yesterday. And it's for a reason, because if I need to meet you, I have to meet you where you are. I have to meet where you are. And, if this is not about adults as much, if this is about children, then I have to remember myself at 5, when it happened. I have to remember myself at 7, at 9, at 12. So I have, a very healthy inner child, that I'm able to connect on a level where, I can look back and say, it all happened for a reason. And the season and time is this. And, it's a wonderful thing when you can, have that rear view image and understand that, okay, I see where I came and I know where I'm going. And now I can go with purpose. I got a different stride. I got a different, I'm ready.
Different pep to the step.
Yes. I'm ready to get at it, Because,
but there's a statement, and then I want to go and see if there's any comments, any questions. Please, if you have any questions for Sean or for myself, please type them in the comments so that, and I have my other device here where I'm checking to see. Oh, Sanji's on here. We got some of our Southampton folks on here.
Hey,
Sanji and Kim. Hey, welcome, sisters. Thank you for joining. But I do want to make this statement because it relates to exactly what you were talking about. There's a statement, I don't even know where it came from. I think it's in the clinical world, maybe, about unmet needs. Because, one of the things that, when I'm working, especially with adults, I'm always, I talk about healing the child within, but always looking at what were the unmet needs. Okay. Wow. What were the things that were not resolved? Because they said, if you want to know something about a person's, an adult's unmet needs or things that wasn't resolved in their childhood, look at their adult relationships.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's very true. And I want everyone to think about that. And I'm going to say it one more time. If you want to have a glimpse or understanding of your own or someone else's unmet needs or unresolved childhood experiences, look at their adult relationships.
Oh.
It speaks volumes.
I'm going to hit the heart on my own phone. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's just me as a clinician, because there's a particular theorist that I love, Maslow, Andrew Maslow. I think we've spoken about Maslow, with the whole hierarchy of needs. I use that in everything. I use that in my clinical work with clients. I use that in trainings. I use that as a professor working with students. I use it with my staff, employees, with my department, because it's there. It's everywhere. And it gives you a framework on how to interact with other human beings.
Wow.
And that's where that premise comes from, if you think about it.
Yeah, and just from you mentioning that, I'm thinking about my own unmet needs. I'm like, well, I can go on, but I think for me mainly, an unmet need that I had probably was safety, security. I didn't feel that when I was growing up. You can't, when there's all this going on, drug addiction, alcoholism, domestic violence, you begin to feel helpless.
Yes.
And invisible in a sense. And I can say that, for me, the way I've seen that play out in my relationships is that I've always gone into those relationships like, I'm here to save everybody. You know what I mean? I'm here to provide that safety, that security. I want to give to you what I never got. And I've done it in my relationships where, I go in and I want to, so that's probably where I could say that relates to me.
Yes.
Is the safety and the security. And so, like I said, I'm growing through, my mess too,
right.
I'm still flossing. You understand?
I love that. Yes.
Still floss.
Awesome with all the flaws, all
Yeah.
of that stuff.
God. Thank
I
God.
love it. So
Like
let
what-
me see. I'm going to look and see if there's any questions.
Yeah.
I see comments, but I don't necessarily see questions. A lot of hey beautifuls and shout outs.
Yeah.
Profound truth. I see Trey.
They may not know what to ask. Here's your chance, because no, because this is how it works. Not every.
Oh, guess who's on here? Gene. What's up, baby?
Oh, I see Gene.
It's like,
a lot of people never met a transgender person up close. They don't know of anyone that is trans, not a trans man, which is what I classify as. But they may know some women or cross dressers. So many different types of identities, gender identities that I couldn't even, you know what I mean? But a lot of people have not met anyone that was trans. They don't know, what it takes. Does it? I had one person, Phoenix, ask me, and no one else asked me this question. He said, "Does it hurt?" And I was,
what hurt? Oh gosh.
Wow.
What hurt?
Does it hurt? And, and it does. It does.
Okay.
It does. And I was surprised that, at that anyone would ask me that, because everybody wants to know, some of the other things. Oh, how long did you know? How come you didn't tell nobody? But he said, does it hurt?
But this is over in the UK, right?
No.
Here?
This
in the
is
States?
Yeah. Does it hurt? And here's the thing. It does hurt. My bones hurt. My bones have grown stronger. I've actually grown an inch tall. It does hurt. You know what I mean? I have.
Wait a minute, I lost your volume. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
does
back.
hurt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it does hurt. Like I said, my bones are, stretching and growing, and I can feel my bones trying to find space to grow. You understand what I'm saying? I can't even explain this. I can't understand it for you, but I can explain it. But like I said, my feet are bigger, my hands are bigger. I have more muscle mass. And yeah, it does hurt. I have growing pains. And we were talking about. I heard on one of the lives you were talking about. We're talking about the chakras and all this. And so I felt at one point for about 2 to 3 weeks where I was bedbound, where I could feel the connectors inside my brain shooting off. Okay.
That's energy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It was shooting off, and I was just like, wow, and it was deep, And so yes, I do. I have growing pains from time to time. I'm in my 40s, so
Right.
am I a 40-year-old man or am I a 14-year-old boy? You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And that's deep though.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of puberty and the amount of testosterone that I get.
Wow.
Yeah. And I never knew anyone that was trans. So, everything I go through, I'm going through. I'm going right through the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm going through my get through,
And that's where it's so important to have communities like what you're going to launch for the kids and stuff, so that there can be dialogues, there can be conversations. And this is why I we talked about it, to have you on, even just to educate people, because there's so many myths and misinformation and judgments, and this thing is, again, it's bigger.
Oh yeah.
It's a bigger issue. And it's like, at the end of the day, that this is your experience. You're walking this experience, but you also are able to be a light and to be a wealth of information for someone else that may be walking this experience.
Yeah.
And that's important. We need to, be able to have someone to talk to. Like you said, I don't know what this looks like. Who can answer your questions, but there are communities that can, right?
And then, there's a thing called dysphoria, and the dysphoria, the trans dysphoria is when, there's a struggle between what you were born as and versus who you are now. And that internal struggle, sometimes it's external, and sometimes it's cues and clues from the world. I remember before, I had, facial hair, and it was still, I had people calling me sir, ma'am, it was all over the place,
Right.
It was
Just
back.
confused. Right.
Yeah. So it created, a dysphoria in me. And then here's another big thing. I had my granddaughter, and so at this point I had started to grow some facial hair, but I still wasn't in the men's bathroom. So, I had to take her to the bathroom. And I was just like, wow. So I'll go in the female bathroom with her. And people start grabbing their kids and looking like, oh my God.
Right. Wow.
The bathroom. And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is deep, And so, we went in and, I realized at that point, okay, I can't come back in here no more. Because I held on to that. I remember there was a big issue with, trans in the
transgender bathrooms, right?
Whole thing. And people got crazy about it. And listen, so I'm in the men's bathroom now. Now think about this. At this point, like I said, I had all types of sexual trauma in my life. I was gang raped, all this other thing. And now I'm in a bathroom full of men.
Men, yes.
See what I'm saying?
Wow.
So when we talk about saying yes to you, when you say yes, I mean, you really have to dig things up from the root and say, okay, where am I with this? Let me gauge where I am. And I mean, things come up constantly. It's continuous. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, I'm this is happening. You know what I'm saying? This is happening. I mean, I've been to the doctor and, they get ready to take your temperature. He's like, take your shirt off. I'm like, what?
Right. And you and I talked about that. You had to remember when people were even saying, sir, yes, sir. You were like, what are you talking to? Looking around like, what? Oh, yeah, me.
Yeah, that's right.
that had to be mind blowing right there.
Yeah, So like I said, this is inside out. And, a lot of people think, being trans is psychological and there's something wrong with you. And I see this, that there was everything wrong with my spirit being oppressed all those years. I was just like these kids. I fought in school. I was suicidal. I was all over the place, But it wasn't because I had a psychological issue. It was because everything around me told me something opposite than what I knew to be true. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people will say, oh, that ain't right. We talk about God. God don't make no mistakes, all this stuff. And he doesn't make mistakes. Nobody said he's making a mistake. But you can't tell me what the Spirit of the Lord says inside me. You can't tell me God in me. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can't do that. Nowhere in your Bible does it says that hate is okay. You know what I mean?
And it's your experience. And I continuously say that you cannot tell somebody about their own experience.
Correct.
That's your experience. That's true to you and only you. Nobody can dictate that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because they haven't traveled the road that you have traveled. One second though, I do want to get to questions because I know there was a couple of questions. I thought I saw one. Oh, Sanji said, does what hurt?
Yeah.
We went past that. We're trying to keep it G-rated, Sanji. So give her the G-rated version of that answer.
So you were asking me about my book. So my entire everything that I was doing has been rerouted. Everything has changed. So now my cause is for trans kids. And so the book that I had, in mind that I had already, been with the publishers about, that is no longer relevant. What's relevant right now is the cause that I have in front of me, and it's children dying, killing themselves.
That's
about
right.
Something that I've come through, and I had to. You work with children, people. They want to interview you before you work in their organization, And, I had one, and they asked me a question. They said, what can you bring to the community, to our organization? And I said, hope.
Yes.
My entire life is a miracle. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of, and don't get me wrong, a lot of clinicians, a lot of psychologists and school counselors they put in front of these kids can't really meet them where they are.
That's right. And you're supposed to. That's how we're trained to do. But you're right. And I'm not offended because I know I'm not one of those clinicians.
Correct.
You have to meet them where they are. That's why when you hear me, I come on these lives or I go and do a workshop or something,
Right.
I'm always going to come from a non-judgmental zone. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to get into religiosity and all of that. Despite what my beliefs are, I have my personal beliefs, but I'm not here to bring that to a particular client or person. I meet them exactly where they are. And that's exactly how I was trained, and just my own character and my own values and belief system on how I operate. I just, at the end of the day, to me, you just can't be an effective therapist or clinician or counselor or helping professional if you are coming and bringing all your biases into that room with that client.
It's true.
How are you going to effectively help them and be able to treat them and provide any type of healing opportunities and solutions if you already have your judgments and your beliefs, right up there? You're already saying, what they shouldn't be doing and what they should be doing and la, 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 la. It's not good. It's not healthy.
Children at a very, I think their earliest recorded is 4 or 5. Being referred to gender clinics, and the best time they say is before puberty, before their body started changing. And like I said, I can remember my inner child, and I can tell you right before puberty, I felt free. I felt free, and I had to wait 30 some odd years to feel free again. You understand what I'm saying? And so, these kids.
What was it about that time though that you felt free?
Well, if you think about, at that time, when you're before puberty in school.
Oh, before. Okay, I heard. Okay.
Everybody's the same. You know what I'm saying? You
right.
Everybody's playing together. There's no gender.
You're not developed bodies.
Right. And nobody's really aware of themselves, right?
Yes.
Before puberty, they're saying, but you got to understand, I see some of these kids on Instagram, and people say, oh, it's not, it's something that you choose. You're not born that way. But I'm going to tell you something. These kids are making decisions early to remove their reproductive system. So you're talking about they're not going to reproduce. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to have children. They're not going to, see a seed of their own and be able to pass it. These kids are making a decision early because that's what it means. I mean, it's so deep set. And I mean, even, like I said, my kids, I had to figure out, what do they call me now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do they call me now? My grandchildren, because they're so young, will never know their grandmother. You understand? That young. So this version of me is all they'll ever know.
They'll know, right?
You understand what I'm saying? And so this is huge. You're talking about, cutting off and attaching things, and like I said, this is a lifetime commitment. I didn't make this decision yesterday, and then now I'm like, I'm good. This is a everyday, a constant, and I'm learning some things about men that I can relate to, because that is different. My mind is different, but I've always been a stronger type. You know what I'm saying? I was always
alpha. You were a super alpha. You was always a super alpha.
So I went from being a feminist to a chauvinist. You see what I'm saying?
Especially in this day and age. Wow.
I'm just keeping it real. That's what we talk about.
Are you going to some women's marches still? I mean, how does that work?
Let me tell you something. Let me make you laugh. Women, places, this is what happened. As women go along their day, you speak to other women, y'all have conversation at the job. But when it comes to men, when I first started to transition over, I would see men, saying like, hey, what's up? How you doing? They don't talk. They look, so I had to train myself. The dudes don't look at each other. They don't speak to each other. They don't smile at each other. So it's different, for me, and like I said, it's just really been probably the most, I don't know, I've never experienced anything like this. Nobody could ever told me that it was going to be this way. And I'll tell you that I was walking down the street, and just an example, and a white lady was on the other, on the same road. She crossed the street. when she saw me coming.
Yeah, because you're a black male now.
That part. So I went basically from being the most
response is different.
Yeah, from being the most disrespected to being public enemy number one. Huh?
Within a year. And because you started this in a year, right?
Yeah, within a year. You know, black women are the most disrespected. And now here I am. You know what I'm saying? And
all right, so I have some questions, Sean. So let's get to these questions because people are that is fired up now. All right. So Trey. Okay, so Trey says, thank you. It gives me so much insight to find out my stepdaughter is contemplating transitioning.
Oh, wow.
So she's thanking you for this information. She says she's grown and doesn't live in our state, and it doesn't bother me, but my husband is struggling with the acceptance.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw a question, too. Okay, Sanji says, do you think children are being exposed too much too early?
Oh, wow. Those are two great questions. I will say for the first question, men, especially African-American men, do struggle with this transition, thing, because to men, honestly, is this or that, right? To understand what I'm dealing with, is this or is that, and they don't understand it. The only thing you can do is educate, your family members about it. And I think people think that you are, doing something weird to your body, or and like I said, everybody's vision of what transgender is off. It's tainted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you don't see it often, and I think it's harder for men transitioning to women still than it is for women transitioning to men.
You mean harder in what way? Just the acceptance of it?
Because to men, if you're a man and you transition to a woman, to the world, it seems like that's a weakness, right? And this is because women. Okay, the masculinity piece, right? So as a woman, when you transition to a man, they think, oh, okay, well, you're just gonna get stronger. I get it,
You're just one of the homies now, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's cool.
Right.
So it's different, but I would say that it takes understanding. And I say that, people go through what they go through. Don't lose a family member over a journey that they're going through because you lack understanding.
Say that again, Sean. That is so important.
Yeah.
That's with a lot of things, too. That's not even just with this. That's with so many things.
Yeah.
But especially something as important as this. You're right.
Yeah.
Don't throw your kid out because they said that they're gay.
Right.
Don't, like, what?
Yeah.
That's still your kid. And that's just like, me and you joke about this all the time. When that call came, you was like, yeah, we talking, yeah, and you were like, yeah, I'm transitioning. So I'm like, oh, you transitioning from where to where? Like, where you going? I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? And then you told me, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, you still my boo, that don't change nothing. And it shouldn't change anything. You love someone, that's your family member, that's your best friend, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They still that person. Like, what? I don't understand that. But it happens all the time.
It happens all the time. It happens, especially in the Black community.
Especially. Yeah.
Black community. And then the other question was, what was the other question of?
Well, it wasn't a question. They were just kind of thanking you for bringing up this information. Sanji also said, I applaud you for standing on your truth and being your authentic self.
I appreciate that.
Trey said, she said Caribbean men especially will have a problem with this.
Oh, wow.
That's a whole nother layer. Right.
And we can talk about that because guess what? My wife is Jamaican. And let me tell you something. And this, because we keeping it real. We keeping it 100. Her entire family, she's got brothers. Her entire family didn't stop talking to her because of me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because they don't understand it. And
But Sean, that was once you transitioned or even before?
Well, as I transitioned.
Okay.
I'm saying, because this is although this is public and I want to help people, it still is our day-to-day lives as a married couple. As I'm going through this, as she's going through it with me, it's a private matter. You know what I'm saying? It's a private matter. you know, how we deal with it, you know, how she deals with it, you know, and she's going through, like I said, it's levels to it. You know, she had to
Right.
go through grief first of losing who she thought was the woman that she married. You understand? So
Wow.
this thing, yeah, it's going through, and I've even, you know, the kids have struggled a little bit with it. You know what I mean?
I was just going to ask you, how do girls respond to it? I think that's important for everyone to hear. Like, how did your
Like,
girls, because your girls are both young adults when
yeah,
you made the transition.
right,
And like you said, and you know, I know, because I've been right there, you
yeah,
know, we've been around these girls, I've seen them from fresh babies all the way up,
yeah.
you know, how was that for them?
Um, my youngest daughter is struggling with it a bit, and you know, when they were growing up, I was all they had. You know, I was by myself for the most part, and so you know, it's just like, you know, yeah, they struggle with it. You know, and when I talked to them about it, and they said, "Well, what do I call you?" I said, "Listen, as long as you call me, I'll answer to whatever." You know, it's a couple of people that get a by, like my mama. You know, she was
Yeah, I
like,
know, we talk. That's actually funny.
uh, listen, I don't, call me what you want. I'm not battling with you about that.
You give mama a pass, but
Yeah,
everybody
the
else.
past. I can't fight with you about it. But yeah, they struggle with it a little bit. But I think the more they see that I am who I was, but more than that. You know what I mean? I'm not less than I was. I'm that and more. And so, you know, I told them it's okay if you miss your mother.
And that's the part, right, right,
And I had to get real.
right.
That you probably feel like you lost your mother. Like I said, they were, you know, we was just the three of us growing up.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just every now and then I check on them, you know, but they see the progress. And they at first was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Why, you know, and as they saw that it was progressive, it happens a little bit at a time. Yes, my voice got deeper. Yes, I have a mustache. Yes, I have a beard. And then they see I'm still, to the core, the same person they knew.
Same spirit, same soul.
Same
Exactly.
spirit, same,
Same, right,
um,
right.
you know, and so, you know, that's something. And then here's the other thing: my wife has boys. She had three boys, and so that was interesting. And so,
Right.
like I said, everything happens when it's supposed to, because guess what? Now I can show them how to shave. I can show you how to tie a tie. You know what I'm saying? And the same
And
thing.
they're like what, 10, 9?
Oh
They're in
no,
that.
they're 12 and almost 16. You talking about
Oh,
these?
they're 12. Okay, I thought
We
they were
on the
one was a little
verge.
younger.
Yeah,
Okay.
we on the verge. She's got a 27-year-old son. So you know, this is something when someone can look at you and see the spirit. You know, we walk around and we see what people do behind closed doors, the makeup, the hair. We don't see people's soul. We don't see people's spirit. We don't see the spirit of people often. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when something like this happens in your family, it's like, wow, this is, you know, it's transcending. You know,
Right.
this
And
is,
you got to look past the flesh, the
yeah.
meat, what I call the meat suit. We are spirits
Yes, we
that
are.
have a soul that
Yeah,
are in a flesh and meat body, but
that's
we
it.
are spirit beings.
Yes, we are.
And I talk about that all the time. And see that if we listen, that's a life changing, that's a world changing mindset. If we
Yes, it is.
all can get on that frequency, that
What?
we are all spirit beings
A
with
higher
a
vibration.
soul in
Yeah,
a meat body, a flesh in my body, then all of this other stuff will go away.
it's true.
Right?
It's true.
It would, because then everybody just be loving each other. We'd be
Yeah,
soul to soul. You know what we need? Don't need just look for their soulmate, because this person be your soulmate, that person be your soulmate, because we're all spirit
yeah.
beings and souls.
I had a guy just the other day on message me, and he said, you know, when we were in the military, he said you taught an entire unit of men how to be men, and he said, you know, that you don't get that often, and see, I have something to give to everybody. Okay, I'm not just, you know, the trans kids. That's my mission. But I have something to give to women. You know, I can tell women what you're doing wrong, why your man is the way he is, because I know. You know, and I know the secret.
Listen, you going down another road now. Don't even
We
go
can
there.
get into it. Okay, this is what we do. And I also have something, that helps men understand the women that they love. So, like I said, I'm operating on a frequency that's just like, psh, it's mind blowing. It really is. But this is the experience of a lifetime, and I want to share it and be a blessing to as many people as I can about this, so that we can all get educated. Because you get to a point in your life where people should stop having a full opinion with half the knowledge. Let's just
Ooh, say it again. Exactly.
Full opinion with half the knowledge, and you call yourself knowing. You know now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So it's time. Like I said, a lot of parents are going to find themselves in a position where they're going to have to deal with this. And the other question was, do we think we're putting too much on our children?
Oh yeah, too early, right? I think some
right.
of you are.
Yeah, and I wanted to offer something with that, because it's two-sided. It really is. Because in order to give rights and protection and security to children that are trans or non-binary or all these things, we have to change the way we do things in school. And so if I'm changing what needs to happen in a school for certain individuals in that school, then I have to educate the whole school. And so there does come a point where now children are going to have to learn and know something that maybe a parent has not spoke to them about. And so this is also happening. So I think the foundation of it all is, God is love. Mm. And any religion that tells you to hate people, you should find another religion. It's very simple. Right. It's very simple, it's that time. It's no different than, when somebody, stood on the line and got beat and fought for Black people to be able to go to school with everybody else. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's no different than that. It's about what's right. And so, this.
Well, it's civil rights. We're in a new civil rights movement right now. If anybody didn't know that, I'm sure everybody does. If you look around all of the movements and marches and, rights, women rights, and of course with the LGBTQ rights, and definitely back with, rights as far as, for Black people in this world, because it's gotten crazy. And so, yes, there is, at the end of the day, you have to know, and that goes back to what we started with. And somebody do a time check for me, just because I know we can get on here, and just because who we are, we'll be on here for a while. Somebody just post the time for me, because I have both of my devices on, so I cannot see what time it is. But anyway, let me just read one of these comments, because I'll talk for forever. Oh, Jean actually put in here, no questions from me. Congratulations, Sean. I'm happy for you. You're still looking good. Damn it, your beard looks better than mine.
Okay. Listen, I bet it, okay? Take a lot of work.
Phoenix, this platform is awesome. Thank you for teaching me something new every time. Oh, I don't know if Jean is still on here, but thank you. Sac passe. My spades partner back in the day.
But I will say this as we close, though, that this whole thing was about just say yes to you. Yes, just say yes to you. And I just want people, if you don't remember anything else I said, not the military, the trans, the everything, the tribulations. When you don't say yes to you, you say no to all of the people that are waiting for you to show up. And I want you don't take anything away from this. I want you to take that away. When you don't say yes to you, you say no to someone, and it could be whatever you're assigned to do. You're saying no. You're saying, I'm too afraid. I'm too ashamed. I'm not ready. I don't have the resources. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm just going to stay right here in this little shell, and I'm going to show up. So you remember that the next time you decide to not show up, that is people that's crying out, that's waiting for you to just get the courage and stand up and say, you know what, today I'm showing up in this right here. I don't even know this the right thing. I'm wearing this, and I'm showing.
Yes,
this is what I'm wearing today. I'm coming.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't know all of the trans laws. You know, I don't know half of what I need to know. But this is what I do know. I say yes. And I'm going to keep saying yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Woo! Love it. So Sean, before we, wrap this up completely, what's new for you? What's going on? Tell the people what you're doing over there in the UK. First of all, say, where exactly are you in the UK?
I am in London. I'm in London, and I am here for law school. And I'm going to be here for some time. I wanted to do something different. Like I said yes. I got tired of, listen, I'm gonna do something different. I'm just gonna, when you decide to jump, the net will appear. You know what I mean? Leap on the way down, the net will appear. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this was about. This was a leap. So I'm here in law school, and like I said, my cause is, the trans kids. I'm gonna start right where I am, do what I can do, and help who I can help. So this is where I am. I'm doing that and many other things. So yeah, I'm in London, man. Come through, man.
Well, you already know, just so y'all know, yes, Sean is going to be arranging part of my international tour over there in London. So I will be in London later on this year doing some things.
I'm arranging
What?
I'm arranging it. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm saying
So look for that. Look for some posts about that. But what I did want to say, I mean, just again, bringing it back to just say yes to you. Everybody that watches this, those that you are going to catch this on a replay, please put #replay. And if you have any questions for myself or for Sean, put them in the comments, inbox me. And Sean is going to give you where you can. Sean is going to let you know exactly where you can follow him on Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I'm on Instagram, but this is on Facebook. Yes, is this on my page too?
This is on Facebook. This is on your Sean Ewing page.
Oh, I might need to call my grandmother after this. You haven't put me on blast today. This is
No, I didn't tag. Listen, if you could tag it if you want, but I didn't tag you on it. So, because I know you're in the process of redoing your page and everything like that. So they can find you on Instagram
at Mr. Gold Digger _official. Mr. Gold Digger _official.
I'll pop it in, or you can pop it in the comment, just so that everyone knows how to reach you. Just put it in the comments at the end of this, once we get off of this.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not savvy, so you go ahead and get me together. Appreciate you in advance.
Yes. But one thing I want to say, the fact that Sean was able to relocate, and again, yes, some of that, the advantage is that he has all of this military background, moved around a lot, so it was, that mindset was kind of there, because that just comes with the kind of the military lifestyle, right? But to be able to pick up and move, across into another country and move out of the States, that's a just say yes right there. That's a big yes. And I think, some of us that may be watching now, some of you that may be watching, maybe at a crossroads in your life. Maybe it's not so big as I'm going to move to another country, to the UK or the Caribbean or wherever, but it can be, you're going through something, maybe a divorce, or you are looking to start a new business or write a book or something. Whatever it is, it has to start with you showing up for yourself and affirming that this is your time. And like Sean said so eloquently, whenever you don't, you're blocking somebody's blessing out there. Somebody's missing a blessing because you haven't shown up. You're not standing on your seat of power and where exactly God has designed you and created you to do and to be. Because everything is a divine appointment. This is a divine appointment for some that are actually on here now, watching this, getting this information. Those that are here are the ones that were supposed to be here. Okay, those of you that'll catch this on a replay, it's meant for you to see this, because it's maybe somebody that may be, experiencing, some type of conflict within themselves, and they need to understand, or they're thinking about transitioning, like Trey said. But it's a divine appointment. So answer the appointment, answer the call. That's what this is really about. So before everybody goes, I just want to make sure I'm not missing any comments. Outstanding. Thank you, sis. Tally ho. Okay, a lot of nice
Appreciate
comments.
the love.
So I just want to. What's
all
that?
I appreciate the love, all the hearts. You know, I
Yes, yes, lots of hearts and stuff. So thank you everyone for joining. This is Phoenix Love of a Healer's Haven, and this is Real Conversations with Real Souls. This is every Saturday. The time may vary. Just again, we had to accommodate our guest because again, he's over in London and it's 5 hours ahead. So you know, we wanted to make it a little bit earlier, but most of the time it'll be in the evening. Every Friday night, Real Conversations with Real Souls. You can also, you know, catch if you are a helping professional or community leader, someone that's in ministry, or you are thinking about some kind of cause or something, you can also join my Facebook group, Awake and On Purpose, and I also put that in the comments. But I want to thank everyone. I want to thank my guest, Sean Ewan, for joining again, and everyone have a blessed evening.
I always tell everybody I'll see you from the top or at the top. Love you.
Love you. Peace.
Bye.